forums, and you got an answer. Pretty much what I'm going to show here, except for I like to do things in enumerations because these are very useful in other places within the game. Anyway, so let's jump into it here. So I'm just going to show a quick example here. I hit my player start. I get my options. I hit my thing. I'm playing as a warrior, as indicated by the little orb over his head. And if we stop, and we do it again, we do mage. I'm a mage. Wow, look at that. And of course, the same is going to go for healer. We're healer. Alright, cool beans. So let's go and take a look at what we did here. So yes, we are going to need, of course, to make our blueprints here. So because we're using separate classes, I imagine you could probably just do this with a instance version of whatever the main class is. I just did a copy. I just threw in over their heads just for the display that we are indeed using other characters. So that's the healer. So if we go back here, alright, so we also have our menu character because we are selecting these from one level and jumping into the new level. So we want to use a separate character because we're going to be using the overrides rather than just calling it in construction. It seems to be a little bit more cleaner the way to do it. You might have seen another video I made for someone else as far as opening doors and going into new levels at specific spawn points. Same concept. So in our game mode, we do create the game instance because we are going to store that player class enumeration. But before I get ahead, we created a class enumeration, which is of course going into your blueprint, blueprints here, creating enumeration. When you do that, you get this. I create the three different options of what we're going to be using for that particular enumeration. Alright, and I'd call the character class. Next, we do have our game mode here. This is for the menu because we are using that override. We don't want to use the same game mode when we're in the menu because it's going to try to give us the the player class that the override is going to be taken care of. So when we go over to the third person game mode, we've used the override of get default pawn class for controller. It's down here in the functions. And then all I did was get the game instance, my game instance. We got that player class and we're doing a switch on and then we're selecting between those three classes. Remember, these overrides are usually called on when a player joins. So that means if you did a respawn, whatnot in the game, it would do the same thing because it's going to be grabbing that instance, what its setting is, and then it's going to shoot that back out. So now that we have that, that's our menu controller, our player controller. Nothing special here. I just wanted to create my own. The menu controller, see, nothing going on here. We got no one. That's what we want for our menu. We have my game instance with the player class. Our main menu game mode, I didn't even do anything in here besides just say we're using that controller. And we are, make sure that we have the default class as not one of the in-game classes. We have our enumeration. We have our widget here, which if we look at the graph, we're just doing the basic instance cast to it, set that within my game instance, take the cursors away and boom, 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 load the level. And that's what we got here. So it's pretty straightforward, I like to think. And I like it. So hopefully you enjoy this way of doing things. I think I covered everything. The other video did show some of the stuff. Let me just point that out. Ooh. Project settings. Ooh. We want to make sure, very important, you are using your game instance. That way it's going to use that one setting because this carries over between levels. And even if you change your game mode, this game instance is staying the same, so it has that variable.